Hello and welcome. My name's Chris Fellows. I'm a solutions engineer here at Zixi, and I just want to take 10 minutes to show you everything at Zixi and what we can offer to our clients. So Zixi are an established company, and we've been running now for around 14 years. We're trusted by some of the largest media organizations for the movement of live video content. So this means we source, we manage, and we distribute live video content anywhere around the globe at ultra low latencies. We do this by using our software-defined video platform. So the Zixi platform provides a secure, reliable ecosystem and the underlying technology to host all of these streams. The platform can operate over any IP network, so that could be fiber, satellite, open internet, mobile data, 4G, 5G. We can use any protocol across any cloud provider and can operate with any edge device. So we like to split the platform down into 4 different pillars. So the first pillar is protocols and transport. So Zixi obviously has its own proprietary protocol, which has been in mission critical use now for over a decade. The protocol includes many unique features like DTLS security, dynamic forward error correction and ARQ, network bonding, business impact analytics, and many more. The platform also accepts and allows switching between 17 different protocols. This includes RIST, NDI, SRT, HLS, MPEG-, etc. The second pillar is the video solutions stack. So this is the software that collects analytics and layers intelligence on top of all those protocols. It allows customers to simplify many of their complex workflows and offers features such as transcoding, repackaging, time shift, and recording, for example. The third pillar is the Zixi-enabled network. So Zixi currently has over 200 different partners and is growing every day. And this partnership allows guaranteed interoperability at scale without having to disrupt existing customer workflows. And then the final pillar is Zenmaster. So Zenmaster is our control plane that allows you to intelligently provision, deploy, manage, and monitor thousands of content channels across your whole entire Zixi-enabled network. Okay, so let's have a quick look at Zenmaster. So Zenmaster is a software as a service that Zixi offers to its clients. So every client would have their own URL to access Zenmaster. All you need to do is log on to the URL, log on using single sign-on or a username and password, and then you're greeted with this dashboard view. So the dashboard view is a 40-foot high-level overview of the entire Zixi ecosystem. So here I can see a simple traffic light system to show me items that are healthy or unhealthy. I can see any open issues on the right-hand side. So say, for example, this source from Cheddar, I see I've got some CC errors from this source. So I don't need to be a broadcast engineer here to be able to diagnose that problem. I can diagnose it in a couple of seconds and know that there's an issue with that source and what the issue is. If I jump across to grids, so grids is a way that we can group components in Zenmaster. So I can group different items and present those in a grids view. So here I've got a group of all the sources that are arriving into my platform. You know, these sources can be made up from any of the 17 protocols, and I can view the thumbnail here in the grids view. Any issues, and I'd see those errors appear on this grid. So here I've got a grid that includes some errors, and I can see all the errors appear in the top left-hand corner, and I can see the exact reason for those errors. If you can imagine, you know, I could be running this as a penalty box view in an MCR and just have sources or components appear when they go into error. Okay, so moving on, we've got feeders, broadcasters, receivers. So these are the software components in the platform. So feeders would sit at the source origin site. So if, for example, you were doing live sports games, you would have a feeder at each of the stadiums or the OB locations, and then I can have their health status report back from each of those locations on that software. I also have a really handy open button which will use reverse SSH to access the feeder directly, which means that I don't need to open TeamViewer or open TCP ports to be able to access that software. The other item with broadcasters in Zenmaster is we use clusters within Zenmaster. So it means that I can have as many broadcasters in a single cluster as I wish. So here I have a broadcast cluster with 3 broadcasters in, and this is for load balancing and redundancy. So it's going to spread those streams across those 3 broadcasters. If I wanted to add a new broadcaster, we can actually link in with AWS, Google GCP, Microsoft Azure accounts, and I can just spin up new broadcasters via a press of a button. So this means if you wanted to host an extra, 100, 200 streams over a weekend and you didn't want to purchase all the CapEx expenditure for the extra hardware, you could just use Zenmaster entwined with your cloud provider, and then you could host those extra streams over the weekend, and then when you finished, you could just come into Zenmaster and close that instance down, and then you're not paying any of the bills there. Okay, so receivers are similar to feeders. Basically, they sit at the endpoint and can take streams from a Zixi broadcaster. And again, I get all the health status for those different components. So then we move on to sources, channels, and targets. So these are the sort of logical layer within Zenmaster, if you like. So if I wanted to add a new source, so a source is anything that comes into the Zixi platform, all I need to do is select to add here, and then I have the options of what type of source I want to add. So, you see all the Zixi, Media Connect, so we can take sources direct from Media Connect. We could take sources already on a Zixi platform. Hitless sources, so I could do a 2x1 switch on different sources that come from the same encoder, and we can deal with any latency differences. You could be taking the mainstream over fiber and the backup over public internet, and then we could take those streams and we could do a hitless seamless switch on those two sources. Transcoding, PID mapping, so the broadcaster includes those features. UDP, SRT, RIST, NDI. It's just simple. You just click add, and then you can create one of those new sources. Once I have a source in Zenmaster, I can select that source. I get a lot more detail around the source. I'll see the same thumbnails that I saw in the grids view. I can select the play button and play the high res on VLC using a special Zixi plugin that we have for VLC. We do content analysis on all the sources coming into the platform. So here we do TR101, priority 1 and priority 2, as well as looking inside the IP stream at the video itself, and we can flag on frozen video, blank picture, and audio issues as well. So within Zenmaster, we keep sort of like a database of all these details. So I could jump back at different time ranges and look at the quality of the stream or the analytics on the stream. So here I see on this stream over the past 24 hours, we've had quite a few different CC errors, and I can see the exact timing for those. We also track SCTE35 markers, so I can see the splice insert commands and the time that those commands were received. We track the network details as well, so I can see any drop packets, any non-recovered packets. I can see jitter and RTT on the line. We're also tracking many other details, so like the bit rates, frame delivery, the percentage of frames delivered into the broadcaster, encoding quality using our own estimated PSNR score, packet timing, and also a trace route there as well. With the SCTE35 markers, we can actually pull those out of the stream as well and give more details around those. So with this details button, I can see the exact SCTE35 XML that was sent, and I can, we can diagnose any upstream problems that may have occurred. Okay, so sources, channels are how the streams go across the broadcaster. So say, for example, if I take this channel here and I look at the diagram, I can see what we've done here is we've taken one mezzanine feed into a broadcaster. We're then transcoding that stream into 4 different bit rates using the Zixi transcoder, and then delivering that out as HLS to a media store. And we can get a whole overview, and we can use these diagrams to see exactly where the sources are being sent and how they're being used. So finally, targets. So targets are an endpoint to the Zixi platform, so an output. So I can see all the different targets that I've got in my system. Again, if I wanted to add a new output, I could just select add and then select the output type. So we've got a few different options here. HTTP means that we can write to a HTTP server or AWS storage bucket. That could be media store or S3 bucket. And that could be HLS or MPEG dash. We could send Zixi out, RIST, UDP, RTMP for social media platforms, SRT, NDI. So to create then is just simply adding a new output, and then when I've added the output and have it in my list here, I could select that output and see details around that output as well. So I can see the same network traffic that we saw on the source, packet delivery, and a trace route as well. And there's different criteria for different types of outputs, which I can go into if you request. Okay, so moving on, we've got logs, reports. So reports can show stats, uptime, and usage for all of the different components, which could be useful for proving SLAs. We also have a remote access section, which means that I can remotely access via SSH connection third-party kits. So say, for example, I have this Elemental Live device. I could select open, use reverse SSH, and go directly into the Elemental Live. So what this means is not only is Zenmaster giving you a platform to create and orchestrate your whole platform and your system and your workflows, you can also monitor those And if anything was to go wrong, you can go into third-party equipment and correct any of those streams. So hopefully you've enjoyed this quick 10-minute overview. If you'd like some more detail, please contact us at Zixi. Thank you.